Hello, and welcome back to Unapologetically Wild with me, Katie Sontag. I am so excited to be here today, and you never could guess, but I just had a sneaky nap today, and you know what it got me thinking about? It got me thinking about how many times we push, right? We push and we push and we push, and we're so good at it because we're high-performing women and that's what we're great at, right? Is actually doing the thing. Like, we should be masters and get awards for that stuff. However, we push ourselves, but when do we actually stop and allow ourselves to listen to what our body needs? Here's the piece. A lot of the time, we don't until it becomes burnout or an injury or something, right? It manifests into something. So how do you catch yourself to actually start to listen to what your body truly needs and give it that without guilt, without shame, without feeling like you're not getting anything done? Because if you're anything like me, that's exactly what comes up. I need to get this done, I've got all these things to do today. I have no time to rest. Even though I have done so much work in this area, it does not mean those thoughts don't come up. I think they are very normal when you're a high-performing woman. I'm going to be honest. And I think a lot of us think that there's something wrong or that we're the only ones that think that way. And I'm here to tell you that that is not true, especially when you're in a building phase. And for me right now, it is a building phase. It's funny how life can have these different cycles, right? Where there can be building phases, there can be consolidation phases, there can be, phases where maybe you travel more or you have more money, and then phases where you want to build something new, like a business, or you start a new job, or you expand what you can do, right? So that can be in any area. That could be in your workplace. You might see a job that you're like, oh, that would expand my skills and my knowledge and all of these things. And at first, when we're learning, we're not good at stuff because we have to learn how to be good at it to get there. It's like everything in life, which is super frustrating in the learner stage. However, we know that if we want to get to where we want to go, that's how we do it. And when you're in a building phase, so many of us will forgo so many things in our life that are actually going to help us build sustainably because we think we're moving quicker if we keep doing the things. What I've learned is that how I build sustainably is through the small micro actions that I take every day. And this doesn't mean that it always looks perfect, right? There are times where I've been in this build phase where I haven't gone to the gym as much, or I haven't taken a nap, or all of these things. However, what I find when I do, I show up differently. I show up better, not only for myself and my business and my clients, but for everyone around me, my family, my friends, all the things. And today was like a 4 a.m. start with taking PT classes. And then I'm going to finish at 10 p.m. taking a PT class for Army. So it's like, this is a big day. My Tuesday's massive, right? My Wednesday's very quiet. Love it. No PT in the morning, just a full day of me. And it's very strategically set up that way because the more I rest and honor the slowing down and the stillness of my life, when I move, I make better decisions and I actually move the needle further because I have the capacity and the ability to make that right decision, choose the thing that's going to move the needle further or quicker or all the things. And actually, because I've honored myself, I do it from a place where I'm grounded. And so I want to talk about listening to your body because also if you've ever seen little kids fight sleep, when they're like so tired and they scream and yell, or maybe they just get they cry, or they're frustrated. I feel we get this in a different way. It's just not as outwardly like extroverted. I mean, for some people, maybe it is. However, what it can mean is we just get frustrated more quickly, or we make a decision that actually doesn't serve us or anyone around us, or we put ourselves in places where the energy is too much and it actually is worse and we don't get what we want from it, right? So that doesn't help. It doesn't help for our family, our friends, all of these people that we work with or in our business or clients and all these things, right? Apply it to whatever your life looks like. But it's like, it really doesn't help us. And you're the most important person to be able to hold space and give love and do all these things for the people around you. You have to be full in your cup. And I mean overflowing with love and happiness and freedom for yourself, not full of all these things that are making you overflow with frustration and all these other things, right? You want it to be full of going to the gym for yourself, having a nap in the day, honoring rest time. When do you plan rest? This is not only in a fitness context, in a leadership context. If you're not planning rest, recovery, recuperation, holidays, times when you get to let your hair down and like let it go wild and be crazy and free and not be so pent up with all the things you have to do, then you're not actually going to lead well or as well as you could. Because let's be honest, we're all leading as well as we can. But imagine if you could lead even better and teach people underneath you how to actually embrace stillness as much as they embrace movement. Because the balance is what allows us to be human and go through life and honor our needs. And sometimes that will look like a rest and a nap. Sometimes that's having coffee on the deck and just looking at the trees and having nothing around me and watching the birds. There has to be a balance. Because if we tip the scales too far one way, it can cause us to have things happen to us that we don't want. Sometimes it's disease, sometimes it's burnout, sometimes it's no longer being able to do our job. Sometimes there's so many different things, right? And everyone has a capacity. And for a lot of high-performing women that I'm talking to right now, you have a huge capacity. And so sometimes you forget that you need to slow down. And I know some women who, when they slow down, they get sick because they haven't allowed themselves during the whole year to actually have breaks and have time for themselves, even if it's small moments. It doesn't have to be this huge 6 months holiday. Like, obviously, yes, if you can do that, here to support you. And it can just be micro moments. Because as we know, even in fitness, micro moments of choosing to put your shoes on to go for a run are going to move the needle and going to make you feel better, think better, perform better. In every aspect of your life, the same comes with rest and stillness. And a lot of the time, because we've got such busy lives and because there's so much going on and we're always thinking and there's always something to do or fix or change, what we miss not being in the stillness is celebrating ourselves, our wins. We miss the chance to be. We miss the opportunity to let go of being perfect and just be real. We might even miss a unique connection or understanding that other people are going through the same thing we are, the vulnerability. Maybe even just with ourselves of being honest with where we are at or what's going on for us or what emotions we're feeling. These are all things that can help us not only be more productive, but make better decisions, and move forward in a way that honors all of who we are. And when you're in a build stage, like I am in now, it's really important because it's really easy to think about all the things that you need to do. Like my list of business things is 1,000. Like honestly, it's ridiculous and it grows every day. And I'm sure you're exactly the same. To-do lists are just everywhere all the time. And they're always going to be there. Let's be honest. Have you ever done a full to-do list and had nothing to add to it and it be completely finished for at least a week? Even a day, even an hour, you'll think of something else to add to it, I promise. It's true. Life is never ending, and I think we need to stop seeing it as an end game. It is a flowing organism. We are moving through life, honoring where we're at, doing things that support us. And there's going to be ebbs and flows in that, especially if you're in a big transition. And that could be anything, right? Transitions are jobs, careers, businesses, life, relationships, fitness journeys. And what happens is if we don't allow ourselves to be still and acknowledge where we're at and be radically honest with where we're at, a lot of times people are like, I'm here, or this is where I am, and it's like 20 steps ahead of them, or it's like, maybe it's behind them, or maybe it's like where they want to be. You can't start something with thinking you're 20 steps ahead or 20 steps behind or whatever. You need to be honest and be like, this is where I'm at. Like if I sit with myself right now and I'm still and I honor myself, allow myself time to think, to be, to honor what I need. That can be even talking to a girlfriend, right? But what I find with holding spaces for clients is a lot of the time it's about allowing them to actually just be where they are at. I'm not here to help, you think you're 20 steps ahead or 20 steps behind. I'm here to hold you exactly where you're at and to be honest about it. And I'm pretty honest as well. And I want that because I think we live in a society right now where we're not really honest and we don't have a lot of safe spaces to sit in that actually show that it's okay and we're all trying to work it out. It's not perfect, but some people have skills. People hire me for the skills that I have to be able to help them from where they're at to where they want to go. And the space is filled with love. And yeah, sometimes I call you out on your shit. That's why I get coached as well, to be called out on my shit too. But most of the time it's about holding space to allow you to be and to not have to hold it on your own. So many women are holding everything by themselves. And it's beautiful, I think, in life that we have beautiful friends, lean on, and family and all the things. But what I've noticed is that sometimes you just want someone who doesn't really know your life fully and can just honor and be with you in that and allow you to step and move through things without feeling shame or guilt about what's happened or where you've been or all the things. But you get to just be, share, be loved, be honored, and still take steps to where you're going without it being just you in your head. Because what I notice a lot too is with my clients is that they're so in their head that they need to allow that to quieten. And this is why I run this weekend. I'm running She Remembers Again, my in-person event, and I absolutely love it because it's about getting into your body. And this is what I work with a lot of my clients about is like when you're in your head all the time, and I get it because I go through phases and I still do it as well. And I literally would, it was always in my head. So when I started getting into my body, releasing the pressure of being perfect, of having to do everything right, of having pressure of society, of life, of people, all these things, and going after what I truly wanted and actually honoring myself in the process, where I was at, where I was building to, that made a huge difference. And I had support and love along the way, and people who had been there and they were guiding me through it, which was amazing, right? So it's the same with this morning. I did a 1RM strict press. And to be honest, I actually was not very impressed with myself. And that took a lot to be like, Katie, it's okay. You're building in that capacity too, because I haven't really been doing any 1RM big lifting. And I think because yesterday wasn't the worst, I did a 1RM squat and I did 105 kilos, which I was like, anything over 100 will be good. 110 would be perfect. But I talked myself out of it at about 105 because it didn't feel right, which is another beautiful thing, right? With the brain. And my body actually was fine. I think it would have been okay, but I had made a decision by then that I was like, it's okay. We'll go for 110 next time. And so I also said to myself, I'm really proud of my body, because I knew my brain wanted to go on this story of like, it's not good enough. You're not strong enough. You're meant to be a coach at this gym, right? It wanted to go on this story. And I was like, absolutely not. Let's not go there. Caught it, moved on, was proud of myself, and like, am proud of myself. Change that statement. And then today, it made it easier when I got a 45 kilo press. And I was like, oh, boys, I've lifted more than that, right? And that was the same story yesterday. And I was like, okay, I'm proud of you, because I haven't done a lot of upper body stuff. I haven't done a lot of lifting at all. To be honest, I haven't followed a proper program in a while. Like, I've kind of just been sporadically doing PT because it fit. And so I was like, okay, we've got areas to improve in. Excellent. Growth is the best. And so I then was like, cool, acknowledge it, move on, show up. And so did the workout, did all of it, and was like, I'm really proud of my body, because it's gone through a massive transition and I haven't been pushing it in these ways. So of course it's not going to grow, but I've done it before and I know what I'm doing, right? So I sat in stillness with my coffee this morning and I was just admiring the fact that I've done this. I have belief. I know it's possible, what I can get to, where I can go, all of the things. And because I've done it before, it's a lot quicker to get there. If you've done something and you know you can do it, it's amazing how quickly you can get there. And then it's really beautiful, because when I can sit in stillness, I'm okay. My body is like, we've got this. We're good. We'll get there. And it knows how, right? And it's muscle memory. It's going to remember how to get there, as long as I obviously do the work to train it. And so I love this, because the old me would have gone into a mad spiral and would have been like, you're terrible, go to the gym more, smash yourself even deeper. And I was like, honestly, the old me used exercise to literally punish myself. And so being able to acknowledge that and being like, wow, you caught the story, was proud of yourself, moved on, understand you can get there, and you can sit in stillness with yourself and not have this become a bigger thing than it needs to be. And your body feels relaxed and your mind feels relaxed. And I can share it. And like I said, it didn't mean that the story didn't come up. It just meant that I didn't let it manifest into something that could become bigger. And I could sit in stillness with that. And I then honored it with stillness of sitting and having a coffee, because I know that the balance of this, the balance of a nap, all of these things means I'll show up better. I'll be stronger because I'm recovering, and I'm going to make better choices. And so the biggest thing that has changed my life has been stillness, has been the ability to slow down. And look, at times and throughout, there will be times when I rest more than I work and I work more than I rest, right? And it doesn't mean that my brain isn't thinking about my business 24/7. But what it does mean is that I can catch a thought, move on, and not let it metastasize into something massive, right? And so this is what I love helping people with, because I feel like we all have our stories. We all have the things that come up, and they're going to come up in stillness, which is why a lot of us don't want to do the stillness, right? Because a lot of the time when it's still, all of these things go through our mind and it's too overwhelming and it's too much and we just want to escape again into the chaos. I know this because I still do it at times. And the times when I don't and I actually honor myself and I listen to my body, like when I had a nap, I literally was sitting there and I was like, my body, although I was resting, I was sitting on the couch, I knew that my body was like, we need to have a sleep. Like, this isn't enough. This is not a rest. This is not recuperation. This is not restoring us. We need to sleep. And part of me wanted to be like, no, you have to get up. You have to go do a podcast. You have to go do, and then I was like, no, we're having a nap. Whatever happens after that, we can deal, right? If the podcast had to go tomorrow, fine. But knowing my discipline, I knew I would get on here today. Like, I just knew that if I had the nap, I even put an alarm on my phone to be like, cool, we're not over napping. We're not having hours of a nap. We're just having a nap. We're going to recharge, reset, and jump in. And it's much better. If I'd shown up hours ago, it probably would have been a really different story. And I think this is really important. Yes, it's scary when you first slow down. And it can be really, really easy to bypass what your body is saying because you have taught yourself to do that. You're actually probably a gold medalist in the Olympics at it. So to start tapping into your body, it really comes down to first being still, most of the time with preferably nothing around you happening, and it being quiet, even if it's a couple of minutes. That's all it takes. It can even be, some people like to place their hand on their stomach or their chest. Take a breath. Some people, tapping is a really beautiful thing. Getting cut 2 or 3 fingers and tapping it on either, your meridian points, if you've done EFT tapping before, or, on your side of your hand is a really good one, because then people can do it without, everyone seeing you. To tap back into your body and out of your head to stop the overwhelm, to stop the anxiety, to stop anything that's happening in your brain. Because when you get back into your body, it'll give you a couple of cues, right? It'll either say, I'm overwhelmed, I need a break. And if it does, you give it a break. And if it says, it just wants to sit down, then sit down. And you start to relearn that doesn't mean anything. When a kid's tired and they want to rest, do you tell them to keep going? When your dog is exhausted from a big walk, do you tell it to get up and go again? No. Yet we treat ourselves like that. And it's not fair on you. You shouldn't punish yourself. I've done it, I know. It's about realizing that the slowdown actually means I get more done and better quality. The stillness and the rest means that I lift more when I'm at the gym. And these are all of the things that, see, ding, beautiful message. These are all of the things that I think we forget about. So I want to be your permission piece and your reminder that stillness is important. Some people start with a guided meditation. Some people, that's their very first start of tapping in to allowing them to rest their mind. Now, meditation doesn't mean that your minds are going to fully switch off and you're going to be this Zen master the first time you do it. It's probably going to go crazy because for the first time, you're going against what your brain knows to do. And it's like, well, if you're going to slow down, I'm just going to go even crazier because why are we doing this? This is totally against what we know. And it's not serving us because we've never done it before. And it has no evidence that it's actually going to help you or work. That's why it takes time when it comes to meditation. A lot of people, same like fitness, they might go into it and then stop for a while and think that, they should have it down pat in 5 minutes. Not how that works. And stillness doesn't have to be a 30-minute meditation. It doesn't have to be your brain stopping. It just has to be the time when you allow yourself to do something for you that actually allows you to stop movement. And you'll counteract it because I know that you're a person listening to this podcast, you're probably a big mover. And if you're not, come and work with me so I can teach you discipline, because you will have the other side of the coin and you will be able to relax and rest. So there's the balance. And this is the best part, is I think because I've been such a high performer and also learnt to rest, I get to sit with clients and actually allow them to have both and find that happy medium and that balance and return to it when they go one way and, or go the other too far. It's just about being like, cool, how can we set this up? How can we plan our week so that there are times in there that you've scheduled a break or you've scheduled time for you? Because this is important. Like you are important, and I've said this 1,000 times, but I really want you to hear me. It's like, you are no good to anyone if you're sick, broken, unable to do anything, to work, all of these things, right? Unable to go on holidays, go to the gym, all of these things. So your health is so important. And part of that is movement, as we know, is one pillar of this. The other part is stillness and the allowance of both. And so if you can use any of the skills from today, tapping, breathing, anything, allow yourself to actually listen. See what your body needs, not what your mind thinks it needs, not what it wants to tell you, not its narrative and story, but your body truly needs. And when you listen, you will actually start to see the difference and your brain will start to get the data. And we all start from some point, right? There's always a point. You think if you're a lifter, you would start with a 1 RM. If you're a runner, you start with how fast can you run 5Ks? And you're like, cool, that's my start point. It's the same with stillness. Movement and stillness are the same thing. And it's like, cool, this is my start point. Now let's make miney. That is a new word, guys. Trademark it. Small little increments, little movements every day. They don't have to be massive. You don't have to overhaul your whole life. It's not what we're doing here. We're making small moments every day where you tap in and you honor your body because they compound like everything in life. How many times have you learned a skill or gone to the gym, for, let's say you do an 8-week program or, you go to a new job and you work for 8 weeks. Day one, you're at wherever you're at, right? That's your starting point. And then by 8 weeks, you're like, holy crap, how did I get here? Because it was small little efforts that compounded to get you to where you were. Same thing. Recently, I literally stood on the scales today and I was like, I feel like I've lost weight. I have been moving more because I've been coaching. I set my life up differently. I've been training more because I've been in a gym, so I train after I coach. And I've been then in turn eating better, right? Because I feel better, my mind's better, I'm sleeping, I'm honoring like all of these very simple things that to me are the pillars of your whole life and your leadership, right? Self-leadership, leadership of others. These are the pillars: sleep, food, fitness, stillness. Embodying literally strength and sensuality as a woman. And the more I do this, of course, my body just went, okay, we're going to lose weight because we're honoring all the pieces. Micro movements, couple of kilos gone. I didn't plan to lose weight. I took micro steps every day that compounded into that. It's with everything you do in life. So, how can you honor stillness every day? Make time for it, because I promise you, it'll get you 10 times further and 10 times quicker than you ever thought it would. And I want to hear exactly how you're going to honor your stillness and how you're going with it. I want to know your journey. Like, I want you to share it with me. I would love for you to send me a message, put it in the comments here, wherever you're listening or watching. And I want you to please like, subscribe, like I said, comment, share this with anyone who you know would absolutely benefit from having more stillness in their life. And yeah, I want to hear all about your journey. So I'd love for you to share it with me. Follow me on Unapologetically Wild with Katie, my podcast page on Instagram, and come and follow me on Katie Sontag. I would love to know more about this journey for you and what actually landed about this podcast. So like I said, like, subscribe, comment, share with all the people. If you share it on your Instagram, please tag me, because I would love to reshare for you. And yeah, I hope you have the most magical day wherever you are. And I hope you stay unapologetically wild and unapologetically you. You are beautiful. I love you.